5.5 is law of sines. So lesson 5.5 is law of sines. Lesson 5.6 is law of cosines. And those are the last two pieces we have in this trig chapter. What the law of sines is going to do is it's going to help us in a triangle. And here's the deal. We're now going to be using sine in relation to not a right triangle. Usually we talk about sine, cosine, tangent. We talk about SOHCAHTOA, and we have to talk in relation to a right triangle. These don't have to be right triangles. This is, as long as you know 3 specific pieces of information, you can find missing sides and missing angles. And that's what we're going to work with in law of sines. So in any triangle ABC with angles A, B, and C, notice angles are denoted by capital letters. And sides A, B, and C, notice the sides are denoted by lowercase letters, respectively. The following equation is true. So there's 3 parts to this. You only ever need 2 parts at a time. But the idea is the sine of angle A is proportional to side A, just as the sine of angle B is proportional to side B, just as the sine of angle C is proportional to side C. Keeping in note,
Mind.
There we go, keeping in mind, that's a good way to put it. The vocab was not there, guys, okay? Notice, where's the relationship between angle A and side A? If here's angle A, side A is opposite it, right? Angle B, side B is opposite, and angle C, side C is opposite. So your side is always opposite the corresponding angle. So with that in mind, this relationship holds true, and it's just a proportional relationship. So you could say, for instance, sine of angle A is proportional to side A, just as sine of angle C is proportional to side C. So you can pick any 2. Now, I don't know what you guys remember from geometry. I know you remember a little bit, but I would think you remember some things like AAS, ASA, SAS, SSS.
Yep.
Okay, those were specific relationships.
Side.
Angle, angle, side, angle, side, angle, side, angle, side, 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 side. And those were ways that you knew if 2 triangles were congruent, right? Okay, well, these apply to the law of sines and the law of cosines, which we'll get to later. But for right now, we are going to, well, okay, we're also, okay, in geometry, you didn't talk about angle, 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 and you didn't talk about side, side, angle, okay? Those 2 didn't exist, but those 2 we're going to incorporate into our law of sines and law of cosines. Okay, so we have what? 6 different ones that we're working with. Now, in the law of sines, which is our focus today and tomorrow, angle, angle, side, angle, side, side, angle. Those are the 3 that apply. So if you're provided those pieces of information, okay, so like angle, angle, side, meaning you have, so if something's angle, angle, side, that would be being provided angle, angle, and then the following side. If it's angle, side, angle, remember that would be angle, side in between, angle. Or side, side angle would be side, followed by another side, followed by the angle after it. Those are, if you have those relationships, law of sines will work, okay? Basically what it's going to come down to is you always have to have a angle and a side that are opposite each other, and then the law of sines will work, okay? So we're going to go through the different options. First one we're going to look at is solving triangles with either the angle, angle, side setup or the angle, side, angle setup. Okay? With these 2 setups, there's always one unique solution. Okay? We're going to run into the cases where there's no solution. We're going to run into cases where there might be multiple solutions. Okay? But right now, with angle, angle, side or angle, side, angle, there's one unique solution. Okay? So basically, as long as you're given 2 angles, there's one unique solution. So our problem here, solve triangle ABC, given that angle A is 36 degrees, angle B is 48 degrees, and side A is 8. Now, what does solve the triangle mean? Basically,
Find out the sides and angles.
Find everything that's missing. Okay, all missing sides and angles. In this case, we're provided 2 angles. There's one missing angle. We're provided one side, so there's two missing sides. Now, what setup do we have here? If we're provided, and I don't know, I'm going to cheat and use this up here. If we're provided angle A, we're provided angle B, and we're provided side A. What setup is this?
Angle, side.
Angle, angle, side? Yes? Angle, angle, side. So the setup we're looking at is angle, angle, side. And if we kind of, let's see, we know angle A is 36 degrees. We know angle B is 48 degrees. Angle C is something we're going to have to find, yes? I'm just trying to summarize what all we know here. We know side A is 8. We're going to have to find side B and
Side C.
side C. Okay, so I have your 6 pieces of information. That's what we have. Okay, guys, you know what to do first. If you're sitting there saying, no, I don't, well, just listen to others. You do. What do we do first?
Find the angle.
Find the angle. Because
Maybe have the other.
3 angles in a triangle always add up to be
180.
180. Yes? So if I want to write something out for you, I can say angle A plus angle B plus angle C equals 180 degrees. Old news, yes? And so with that in mind, 36 degrees plus 48 degrees plus some angle C is 180 degrees. What did you find angle C to be?
126.
126 degrees. No one's...
I don't think that's right.
I got 96.
I got 96.
Hey!
Oh,
And I was just thinking in my head,
Oh, I
haven't looked at the answer key.
I forgot the 3 in front of the 36.
Oh my
so-
God, that's pretty cute.
Okay.
much confidence.
So,
I should have checked my work.
funny
So
enough,
much
Yeah,
side eye.
minus
We're like,
six.
wait a second.
and my back was to you guys, so I wasn't seeing all the side eye.
Sophie looked at me and I was like, I don't think so. I don't know if that's right.
See, so I was getting my bag.
Okay.
So,
Too ahead of yourself.
I forgot the 30 part of the 36. You'll have
Okay,
that on
you
the
missed a
big
button.
jobs.
well, and I'm sitting here thinking, well, I haven't looked at my answer key, but I don't hear anyone complaining, so it must be right.
Sophie just gave me such a look of like, no.
Okay. You guys just didn't complain quite that quickly. There's the key. You complained. It just, I'd already written.
I was getting
Okay, so we got the basic math issues out of the way. You can't even blame on basic math. It was the basic calculator.
That's where I'm at. You know?
Her eyeballs about fell out of her head.
I think we should
so hard.
just-
Okay, guys. Now,
Like,
with this information, we need to find some sides now. Okay. Now, let me point out, angle C, rather than me just putting C, notice what I put in front of it. I put the
Greater
angle
than.
mark in front.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
no. That is the
No.
angle sign.
That's the
Angle
And if anything, it looks like a less than, not a greater than.
Yeah.
There's no arguing that one.
It's
but-
like been a long
my
spring
God.
break.
That looks like
Okay.
a nose.
But angle sign. Okay. I will say, on some of your papers, your angle signs do turn into less than signs. So,
I can see
not going to argue that.
I can
It
see
just
that.
happens sometimes.
It does. Okay. Now, we need to start finding our sides. Okay. As we go to find our sides, first of all, notice we have a pair here, right? We have a set of information where we know angle A and side A. So that's going to be the set of information we use to help us find the missing sides. Okay. So we can use the idea, and what we can start off using is this right here. Because we're provided big A and little a. We're provided big A, we need to find little b. Okay, so I'm going to set this up that we're going to do the sine of angle A over side A is going to be equal to the sine of angle B over side B. Now, I can set up the basic form so you have that. Whether you write that or whether you go straight to next step is up to you. Because what is A? Angle A is 36. So the sine of 36 degrees over side A, which is 8, is going to be equal to the sine of B, the sine of 48 degrees, divided by little b. Okay. Put your mathematical genius to work. What do we do?
My
Check your
mathematical
vote
genius is
first.
working overtime.
It's an equation. We're trying to solve this equation for b.
Oh, I got
How would you like to solve this equation for b?
Put it in the calculator.
I
Well,
need more details than that.
you have to cross multiply.
I would go with cross multiply. What do I mean by cross multiply?
36 times B.
Okay, except it's not just 36 and 48,
Son.
the sine of those, right? I'm assuming you're just being lazy, but I want to make sure we're writing down.
Have those written down.
Ah, well, that's going to be important. So when we do our cross products, b times the sine of 36 degrees is going to be equal to 8 times the sine of 48 degrees. Can we all get behind that idea?
Yeah.
Then think logically. How do I solve for b?
So now me thinking logic, I'm saying.
If it's b times sine of 36 degrees, we're going to divide by sine of 36 degrees. So b is going to be equal to 8 times sine of 48 degrees divided by sine of 36 degrees. Now, here's the challenge.
Make sure.
Can we all figure out how to put that into
What do
the
you
calculator? You've got to practice. Whether you have a calculator or not. You're going to need to practice.
What'd you?
Like I said, 11.
Just-
Okay.
B.
What did you first do?
10.11.
10.11.
Oh, yeah, I got some.
I thought you guys just said 7.
No,
That's what I
10.
thought.
I got
first,
10.
and I was like, that's.
I haven't even put it in yet. I'm not gonna lie.
And here's the deal. I need everybody to put it in their calculators. Not just go with, okay, yep, I got it. That's what they got. I'm just going to write it down.
Oh, I'm putting it in.
Exactly. That's not what I got. Because there's a couple different issues that could be popping up.
That is what I got.
Are you in degrees?
10.1.
No.
Are you sure?
I checked. Don't worry. Let me try this again.
Did you say you're not in degrees?
You need to be in degrees.
Wait.
Are you in radians?
I'm in radians.
Oh, God.
That could be a problem.
I even checked. I was like, am I in the right? Okay. Stop. That's enough. Yeah, that's enough. No, it's not radians.
Okay. The answer of 10.11
Yes.
is the correct approximate answer.
Perfect.
Now, if you're not getting that, definitely check your setting. Okay? We were given degrees. 36 and 48 are degrees, so you have to be in degrees. Okay? And then, other than that, it would just be a matter of making sure you find a proper way to enter it in the calculator, which this one's not too bad. 8 times sine of 48 divided by sine of 36. That one's not a horrible thing. So, okay, did we all eventually get that figured out? Noah, I have no idea what mode that calculator is when I handed it to you. So
He probably doesn't either.
I should have handed you the other calculator, but
10.11.
there you go.
Hooray.
Okay,
Noah.
now we need one more answer yet.
C.
We have to find C. How do you think I can find C?
Same way.
Go to C level.
Well, just
Can you
change-
use sine A or should you use sine B?
Okay, so good question we need to address.
Can you use either?
Probably.
Okay.
They're all equal. A, because it's like a definite.
I was gonna say let's.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say on this. When we go to find C, obviously we're going to have to use angle C, and then we either have to use the pair of A's or the pair of B's. My recommendation here is that we use the pair of A's, because first of all, A's are not rounded answer. Was this 10.11 a rounded answer, if I recall?
Yes.
Okay, that 10.11 is not a precise answer. Now, I'm not saying that it would steer you wrong, but it could send your decimal off just a slight bit. So my recommendation, since A was the provided information, is that we use A's. So I would suggest setting it up as sine of A over side A equal to sine of C over side C is my recommendation. Okay, I always try and go with the provided information when I can. So sine of 36 degrees divided by 8 is equal to sine of C. What is big C?
96.
96 degrees, unless your name is Connor, divided by side C.
A man's finger can't just slip in.
Okay. And how do we solve this? Again, we are doing cross products. So C times sine of 36 degrees is equal to 8 times sine of 96 degrees. And then in order to solve for C, we're going to divide. So C is going to be 8 times sine of 96 degrees divided by sine of 36 degrees.
Mario, I haven't done this. Hold on, let me. Okay, let's do this back one.
It's 13.5.
Sophie.
It is 13.5.
You know, I've learned my lesson today. I'm not writing any answers down until I check my answer key because
I got 13.5.
I got
13.5.
I haven't
No.
gotten there yet.
Oh,
Four.
My bad.
13.5.
I can't read. So.
Oh.
so I believe it rounds to be 13.54.
Boom.
Amen.
Yay.
Okay. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Law of sines isn't bad. You just have to be able to figure out how to set it up and whatnot. Okay.
I've definitely.
Now, and the nice part is things were given as A, B, and C. They won't always be given as A, B, and C, so you may have to do some figuring out there. Okay. Ready for the next one? Okay. So example 2, technically, when you look at example 2, there are 3 examples that fall under example 2. There's A, B, and C. A on the front side, B and C on the back side. But example 2 is what they term the ambiguous case. As in, it all kind of depends on what kind of information you're given. Whether, acute angle, obtuse angle, how the sides and angles match up. But this is a situation where well, first of all, notice we're talking side angle, okay? Depending on what you are given, there may be one answer, like what we just had. There could be no answer, or there could be 2 answers, okay? And so we're going to talk about all those possibilities. So, for side angle, okay? Notice side angle, and I think, if I recall correctly, I'm going to go ahead and label the other pieces here, because I think it gets confusing otherwise. If this is angle A, let's see. This is angle B, and this is angle C. And then if you label these with the small letters, which is more what we're used to, right?
Yeah.
That is side A. This is side C. And that is side B. Correct?
That pencil's not pencil.
Now,
Penicillin.
we are being provided, so notice it say we are given angle A. We are given side AB, which is side C, and side BC, which is side A. Okay? Depending on this angle, okay? If angle A is obtuse, then there is one triangle possible, assuming that, I always forget which this is, side A is bigger than side C. Okay, so if angle A is obtuse, there's one triangle possible if side A is bigger than side C, and there are no triangles possible if side A is smaller than side C. And this has to do with the idea that if there's an obtuse angle, what side has to be opposite the obtuse angle? In other words, the obtuse angle is going to be what angle of the triangle? If it's obtuse, it's going to be, what's obtuse mean?
Over
90.
Bigger than 90, right? And if it's bigger than 90, how many obtuse angles can you have in a triangle?
One.
Only one, yes, because the other two have to be acute. So if there is one obtuse angle, so one angle that is bigger than 90, which side is going to be across from it? The side that is the longest, right?
Oh, yeah.
Does that make logical sense there?
Yes.
The biggest angle has the longest side across from it. So, with that in mind, if the given angle is obtuse, there's one triangle possible as long as the side across from it, side A, is bigger than the other given side. There's no triangles possible if the side across from it is smaller than the other given side, because that just doesn't make a triangle. Okay? If angle A is acute, notice there are two triangles possible if C is bigger than A. One where angle C is obtuse and one where angle C is acute. And we will look at that example when we get to one like it. Okay? And then the other option is if angle A is acute, there's one triangle possible if A is bigger than C. Okay? So we'll look at this information and we'll put it into the different pieces. Here's what I will say you have to watch out for. They're not always going to be labeled A, B, and C, right? So we have to look into a little bit more as to the relationships. Okay? Best way to determine which type of scenario we have is to sketch a triangle. Okay? Sketch it out and with the given information. So here we're going to solve triangle ABC, given that side A is 7, side B is 6, and angle A is 26.3 degrees. Now, so I need to draw angle A to be smaller. I don't really know anything about the other angles. So I'm going to pick angle A to be over here at 26.3 degrees. Now, side A is going to be across from it. And side A has a length of 7. Based on the way my triangle's drawn, side B is 6. So I'm going to pick side B to be over here. And I just picked side B to be over there because it's similar in length to side A. Doesn't really matter where you pick it, to be honest. So that's going to make this one angle B. Up top is angle C. Down low is side C. Okay. What is my relationship here? What were we provided in terms of sides and angles? This is a side-side angle, yes? Easier to see once you draw out, of course. It's a side-side angle where angle A is what?
26.3.
And 26.3 is an acute angle. And then what do we know about the other sides we're provided?
One is acute and then one is obtuse.
We can't talk about obtuse and acute sides, but just the fact that A is bigger than B. Or are you guys talking about angles?
I was
You're talking about angles.
Okay. Okay, there we go.
Shut up.
Now,
I'm not going to tolerate this.
technically, I say we don't know if we have an obtuse angle or not. Because we don't, I guess it kind of depends.
Would it have to be?
Oh, well, yeah, never mind. It would have to be now that I think about it. Okay, now, with this idea, okay, angle A is acute. That falls into one of these. The side across from it is bigger than the other provided side. That falls into this bottom category right here, where angle A is acute. The side provided across from the acute angle is bigger than the other provided side. Okay? So, what would you like to find first?
Surprise me.
What do we have to find first?
I think we should find the side first, right?
Well, there's only one thing we can find right now.
I think the side. Yeah. Let's find the side.
What'd you say, Hannah?
Angle B.
We have to find angle B.
Because you have,
Yeah.
right?
because we know A's, right? We know big A and little a. So A is our provided information. So we're going to do sine A over A. And then the other piece of information we're given is side B. So according to law of sines, we have to find angle B. Okay, so I'm going to set this up. Sine of angle A over side A is going to be equal to sine of angle B over side B. I'm going to plug my numbers in. Sine of 26.3 degrees over 7 is equal to sine of angle B divided by 6. Okay, are we okay with the setup?
As Mario has punched it away on his
Okay. Now, we're going to start this problem off pretty much the same way we started off last one, in that what do we need to do? Cross products. So if we set this up with cross products, 7 times the sine of angle B is going to be equal to 6 times the sine of 26.3 degrees. And then mathematically, what would you do next? Okay, we're trying to get B by itself, which at this point means I'm trying to get sine of B by itself. So we're going to divide by 7. So sine of B is going to be equal to 6 times the sine of 26.3 degrees divided by 7. Okay? Now,
That's
do.
what I thought.
okay, so, and this is where, notice I haven't punched anything into my calculator yet. I'm just trying to figure out mathematically how we're going to get B. Now, we are one step away. In that, right now, if I punch into my calculator 6 times sine of 26.3 degrees divided by 7, am I finding B at that point?
No, it's giving me sine.
I'm giving the sine of B. We need to know, how do we find capital B? So this is where the sine of some input is equal to some output. What allows us to flip-flop, to switch our input and outputs? And that is the inverse function, right? Inverse function allows us to take our input and our output and switch them. So what I'm able to do here is I'm able to say, okay, B is going to be equal to sine inverse of 6 sine 26.3 degrees divided by 7. Okay? And so the idea here is that B was going to be my input, and that fraction was going to be my output. Now, the input is the fraction, the output is going to be B. And so now you have to figure out how to type this in the calculator.
Okay, Sophie. I just choose mine.
Just
No, you're not. Just get picked up too.
22.30 should have.
Yeah, and then take calculus. And
Yeah.
try yourself to sleep every night.
I'd be fine.
I got that. 22.31.
3.2.
Sorry. 32. Sorry.
Are we figuring out the calculator?
Yes.
Because if we're figuring it out, I won't switch my screen and
Just
that's what's showing it then.
Second and then sine inverse.
Okay, so sine inverse, in order to do sine inverse, it is second,
Yeah.
and then it's a little sign -1 above sine, right? Okay, and then within there, you're going to put a fraction, right? And you're going to do 6 regular sine 26.3 degrees over 7. And you still need to be in degrees because we're provided degrees. You're going to need to be in degrees all lesson. The rest of the chapter, we're in degrees. Okay? So, I am hearing, I have mine written as 22.3 degrees.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, next. What would you like to find next?
Probably C.
No.
You can't do that.
We can run the ankle since you know.
Yeah, you can find the angle.
Okay. Next, you're going to have to find angle C because at this point, we know both A's, we know both B's, we know neither C. You can't find side C until you know angle C. And how are we finding angle C?
Sure.
So push it.
The fact that all three angles in a triangle add up to be 180. We can't use law of sines for this part. In order to use law of sines, you have to know one of your C values. We know neither C values, so we have to go back to the middle school basics. All three angles equal 180.
You can look at 1.4.
Yes.
Oh my God. I got it now. Yeah, I got it.
So angle C should be
I done mine.
131.4 degrees.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
And now, what do we have left to find?
Side C.
Side C.
I'm in my back.
In order to find side C, technically you could use the A information or the B information. I'm going to suggest the A information because that was provided. That wasn't anything rounded. So I'm going to suggest that we do sine of angle A over side A equal to sine of angle C over side C. So sine of 26.3 degrees over 7 is equal to sine of 131.4 degrees over side C. From here, of course, you are doing your cross products. C times the sine of 26.3 degrees is equal to 7 times the sine of 131.4 degrees. In order to find C, you divide. So C is going to be 7 times the sine of 131.4 degrees divided by sine of 26.3 degrees.
I got 11.8.
Okay, that's right.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's do it.
I think I should slow down a little bit.
Did you guys go?
Just make sure you know how to use the calculator.
Right. I hate you, Mario. So much.
Know how to use the calculator, please.
11.85. 11.9.
I say, for whatever reason, I have only one decimal place written from here on out. Don't ask me why. I know, I switched mid-lesson, so. I have 11.9 written down. Sounds like 11.85 is correct.
You could only put 9.
You didn't even put the 131. You just put
Yeah, I
the
did.
31. You
Oh,
put
I
the
put 31. Oh, shoot.
So now she has the Connor syndrome.
No, I just read it wrong.
First that can't relate because my finger has not
I
slipped
think I'd rather
since
do
that
anything
accident.
other than that.
Why are you ever had
11.9.
issues with your fingers slipping?
Happy birthday.
Okay. I would say we can go ahead and set up B. We're not going to get very far in B. Where are we at time-wise? Oh, well, that clock is still off a minute, isn't it? So 10:12. So I'm thinking we'll just start with B tomorrow.
I like it.
Okay? Cool. We'll start with B tomorrow. B has a lot to it, so I don't know. You could start looking at a little bit of homework, but there's not going to be much that, you know. I guess you can do some of them, but you're not going to know what to do with some of the others yet. So homework is listed there, 2 through 12 even, 20, 22, 38, and 39. And we should finish notes tomorrow.